I did recently on my Instagram account a post related to vaginal dryness and lubrication. And I shared a little bit of my knowledge, which was just an overall perspective, because remember that every case is different. And what I liked was the interaction that I got through my stories. So people just sent me their feedback and their insights, but it wasn't with showing their names and their faces. So through this anonymity, I got to receive some beautiful insights, and I really want to bring this topic here, not just with my perspective, but also with perspectives from my community. And if you want to consider joining these discussions as they happen, then hop on to my Instagram handle. It's Liana Sexuality Coach, and you can follow there the discussions, because we're interacting through stories. Like, I've found that many people are super okay with that. So that being said, first of all, a little bit of an insight from me as a coach on vaginal dryness / lubrication. Now, first and foremost, everybody that has a vagina should get a medical examination, should be seen by an OBGYN and see that your vagina is healthy, that you don't have any other conditions, your own conditions that might prevent lubrication. So aside from the regular and normal yearly tests that we should all have, here are some other reasons why you might be facing vaginal dryness. The first one is a hormonal imbalance, and you can assess that through specialized tests. So if you get to an OBGYN and they may suggest that you take hormonal tests, then you're going to get them on certain days of the month, and you're going to see for yourself, with the help of your medical doctor, what happens with your hormonal balance. But that might be a source. And it's worth considering that it might not be that you're not eating right, anything. It might be due to your hormones. If that is the case, then this situation will be solved with the help of endocrinologist. So that's why I always suggest that you include your medical examination before anything else. Secondly, vaginal dryness might be caused due to lack of muscle tone. Please remember, the vagina is a muscle. When a muscle is toned, is worked out, and it's been worked out properly, then blood flows, period. And with blood flow in your vagina, yes, your vagina is going to lubricate itself naturally. So if you have vaginal dryness, it might be just due to a lack of vaginal muscle tone. And for that, you might also want to consider various exercises that may include your pelvic floor. And for that, there's a plethora of ways. It could just be your Kegels, but somebody needs to prescribe them to you, by the way, for vaginal dryness. It could be the jade egg practice. So before you jump to your artificial lube, consider working on your muscles and on your blood flow in the area. And when you need it, yes, it's going to lubricate itself. Third, it might be due, so vaginal dryness might be due to psycho-emotional causes. What do I mean by this? When we're aroused, if we haven't worked out our issues, which might be stories that we've heard repeatedly as we were growing up, things that may have happened to us directly in our sex lives, or simply things that worry us in a certain specific moment, then if you have anxiety, fear, any source of stress, or any other psycho-emotional factors that may put a pressure on you, instead of feeling safe when you're aroused, so instead of triggering your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system responsible with feeding and breathing, you may activate your sympathetic nervous system, which actually triggers the fight or flight response. So when we're in fight or flight, because there might be things that scare us, worry us, or anxious, blood does not flow towards your pelvic area. Blood flows towards your limbs because it needs to prepare your body either for fight or for flight. So that's why a lot of your vital functions are reduced to a minimum. Anything that isn't directly involved in your survival is not activated in those moments. So blood, again, will flow in different parts of the body. That's why you might not get lubricated in arousal. You might be okay with your hormones, you might be fit in your vagina, but because you have some unresolved psycho-emotional issues, your sympathetic nervous system might get triggered in arousal because you're anxious, because you're scared, because something is really off there, and blood doesn't flow there, pure and simple. So your vagina can't get lubricated. That is why working with a therapist, working with a counselor to solve your psycho-emotional issues might be actually the solution for you. So it's not that one solution, work on your vaginal tone and then you're gonna lubricate yourself easily, or work on your hormones and then you're good to go. There's not just one cause for vaginal dryness, so there's not just one solution for lubrication, basically. What I also want to share with you is a little bit of the insights from my small Instagram community where people shared under the anonymity of the stories function. So when I shared this, you're going to see it on screen also with me. First of all, I asked through the stories whether they have ever experienced vaginal dryness. Funnily enough, not just women answered, so guys also jumped in and answered. And first of all, I put a poll, and 76% of people said they did experience vaginal dryness, and out of those people, 3 of them were guys. Guys experience vaginal dryness with their partners, you can imagine. And 24% said they hadn't, but one of those people was again a guy, and he later wrote to me in private, so responded to this story in private, and said that he had this problem with his partner, but they worked on it. So this guy that said no was actually supposed to be a yes also. So it was funny for me to see the guys interacted with this story, and they gave their experiences. And then I also asked, this was an open-ended question, I asked my community, if you have ever experienced, how did you work around the situation? And some of the answers were quite funny. One of them was, it came from a woman, I discovered erotic novels. That's how I realized I'm into words and dirty talk. That gets me wet. Somebody else wrote, lube, it helps. Somebody else, I got more answers here, and all of them from women. Coconut oil, lubrications or lubricants, and somebody put here therapy, healing, the jade egg. So yeah, I got people that worked around this. I got a guy who answered, lick it with love. Now, this guy, okay, that's how he reacted when he experienced his partner with vaginal dryness. And I also got replies to these stories, so they didn't answer in the open-ended question, but I got replies. And somebody, this was a guy who reacted to the guy response. He said, yes. And to the other one, where was the woman who shared her passion for dirty talk, he said, definitely love this stuff. So people reacted. People basically engaged, and I liked the fact that, I wouldn't have gotten this type of interaction through a comment where people had to show their name, faces, even if it wasn't their real name, maybe people knew their accounts. So I really wanted to share this with you, and I want to encourage you to, if you have stories, whatever helped you overcome something, remember that it motivates others. So not just from me, I'm the coach here, so I'm bringing my insights or my recommendations to see specialists, But there's something beautiful about sharing and supporting and people seeing, you know, there's somebody like me that had this and they used lube or coconut oil or dirty talk and novels, or they went to therapy, or somebody like the guy who said he licked it with love. So anything that would get you inspired and encouraged, definitely. So I love this sequence when I did the post, and I wanted to bring it here. I encourage you to hop onto my Instagram also and let me know in the comments if you feel okay to share from your stories. That's it. Enjoy, and I'll see you next week.